this leads to another one. We were talking about how to put cannabis in, for example, whether it's a sub-program, a program, or whether it's just a contract add-on. So it's kind of related. Like, how do we do these customizations here?
Okay, so let's talk about cannabis first. Here's what I want to happen with cannabis. Right now, everyone has different cannabis reporting requirements. I know the state is working towards having a standard statewide contract report, but we're not there yet. So right now, my preference is to have cannabis set up as a custom timesheet category using the custom form builder, so that if we were to build a cannabis row in here, it's going to be custom tracking, and really we're not tracking program and subprogram, because that would be asking the user to enter subprogram and program. We already know this is part of the ag program, so we don't need those. It's not done on a contract basis. At some point you might need to track location, but right now, actually I don't know, what is CDFA asking you for on your cannabis report?
Well, it's not an ag program. It's a below the line program. So so it's not an ag program per se. And we do have a contract with CDFA for cannabis inspections.
Mm-hmm. And when you produce an invoice for them, what do they ask for on that invoice? Do they ask for details or just total hours?
Well, there's widgets, because how many inspections have we done for the widgets for the contract plus the hours? I don't think it's more detailed than that, is it, Ed? Do you remember?
I remember, but it begs the question, even if this one is simpler, there's still going to be some, and especially with our pest management, we want widgets, we want miles, we want materials, and I know we talked about that, or you have talked about it with pest management in general for the spray counties, and I know that's something down the road, but in effect, we need to create a bunch. If we're not going to run in parallel with our old program, which we're hoping not to do, we're going to have to be able to build these custom reports, basically, our forms. So this one, I looked at it yesterday, and again, just barely getting into it, but it didn't seem like it was doing enough there. Like it creates the line, and you can have a couple of widgets, but not really like, how do you turn it into a form? Is that you guys, or can we take it there to a form level?
Right. So let's keep going with this example for cannabis, right? So we don't need to track contract, we don't need to track locations. And when I say we don't need to track them, what I mean is when you produce an invoice for CDFA, you don't have to give them a list of all the locations you inspected, right?
We do have to submit the inspection forms that we've done, but I don't believe on the invoice we have to highlight the number of places, or the specific places that we went to. And I can pull up the invoice right now.
Okay, so you do want to track mileage, yes?
Probably for our own purposes, yes. If not even for the report, for our own purposes, we might want to.
Okay. Kramer, it's not involved in Kramer, so you leave that blank. Payroll timesheet category, this counts as work time. Oh, looks like you already created a cannabis.
Yeah, we were playing around with that.
You can find it, cannabis. Okay, so mileage will say yes. Work time, and then down here you've got custom fields. And what I would recommend, so you're going to be tracking the number of inspections performed. So let's change this to, okay, type with that in the way.
There it is. I knew it was there. I just couldn't find that yesterday. I don't know how it got there.
So it's going to be an integer, and we'll provide drop down. It is required, and
For CalCANvas, it is just a widget count. There's no mileage. Sorry about that. Just to clarify, I pulled an invoice up now. So
okay.
a count is all we need for now, but the larger question is for other things where we need more widgets.
Okay, so we'll turn mileage off then, and we'll save that. And then, so basically what that means is when someone goes to their timesheet, and let's add CANvas here, and I'm going to put in some CANvas time. Whenever I put in CANvas time, I have to put in number of inspections performed as well. So I did 3 inspections, it was 4.5 hours, and I can enter remarks here.
And that does the job. I think that works. Does everyone agree that's good enough here? And then, even though I keep talking about a form is not even essential as long as we can expand on those selections in that pull-up, the lookup box there.
Right.
Can we add as many variables as we want, or is it limited?
There's no limit. You can add as many as you want.
Okay.
And so for some of the things like your bait manufacturing program, you can create a drop-down list of the bait, the bait names and things like that. Now, the data that goes in through these custom forms will come out on that audit report that I mentioned, but some of the details, like that count of the number of inspections performed, that's another report that we're working on that you'll see next week that will give you the details for each of your custom timesheet categories. And that is the raw data that you'll need for invoicing.
Right.
So that's great. And counties that have kind of one-off programs can use that custom tracking form. But if you can imagine, once you've got 15 or 20 different fields laid out on here, it's not a very friendly, right? So something like CANvas, eventually I would like to replace all of these custom forms that counties are going to do right now. Once we've got a single form that really TDFA can agree to for all counties. And here I'm thinking, this could actually be the detailed inspection form. I would like to add that up here under activities. We got ag, we got weights, and I would like to add another category for CANvas activities. So that when somebody actually does a CANvas inspection, they can enter the whole inspection into the system, just like we do for weights and measures inspections. And then it will automatically add up this row for you. So it's kind of a two-phased approach. And right now we're just not ready because, CalCANvas still doesn't have like a standardized approach. And every county that I've talked to that's doing CANvas has something different that they're tracking. But I think we're getting close. I think by sometime next year, there'll probably be more of a standard statewide form for CANvas inspections.